Yeah. Ready. Things kind of. She thought me. Sure. She taught me some things too, like that. She tried it.
That was one of yours. That's so nice.
Yeah.
Oh, so you know how like that was really, really.
I think that's part of my 8th one today. I think.
I don't know what to say on my. That's all for.
We can sing for him.
I will.
I'll see you in a little bit.
I can empty the room.
I
can empty the room.
Jordan. They have a friend that followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Father, we come to you tonight just praising you and thanking you for your goodness, your mercy, and the way you take care of us, provide for us, and protect us. Pray that you would be with us tonight as we conduct this meeting. Help us to vote our consciences, to listen to all ideas presented, and to treat one another with respect. Be with us as we move forward, lead us and guide us. In Christ's name, I'm praying. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilmember Ryan.
Yeah.
Councilmember Landry. Councilmember Rohrbach. Vice Mayor Ketchum.
Yes.
Mayor Hammond.
Here. Approval of items on consent agenda.
Motion.
Councilmember Bryant. Councilmember Landry. Vice Mayor Ketchum.
Yes.
Mayor Hammond.
Yes. At this time, we're receiving requests from the general public. Any person wishing to address the council regarding non-agenda items will be given 5 minutes.
Good evening, Shirley Scott, 712 West Street, Clear Park. Promise it will so fast. First, I want to thank you for the fact that you established that part in my name, Scott. And then I'm glad that you all hastened to do what you thought you were doing right, it was right, and repair the sign that had my name on it was material. So I go rushing by today. No, my sister said to me, I want to show you something. And I said, okay. She took me by the park. I said, oh, my sign, I'm gonna hop out to get my picture taken. We sang. And but you know, when I get to stand up there ready to get out the car, that my name is Miss. Now you all know. See, I didn't want to send a message that it was Miss Fair, because then you might have thought I was Nick. I just want to come in person to say that I sure would appreciate it if the spelling of my name is correct and don't think don't feel like I'm being ungrateful Nothing but a song. Amen.
Can we do like we did in school, and just cross it out and put the right?
You got me, didn't you? No, I just wanted, like, to. And with that, out of here.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good time.
You too. I saw you walk in and I was scared for a minute. I wonder what I'd done now.
If you say your record mistake. You want to take that as a,
We'll take care of it.
that, my name will be spelled SHIRLEY. Thank you.
My name is Kenny Clinton. I lived here since seventh grade. I'm in here about my utility bill. You know, when the cold spell is over, my heater's on turn it off. It's not a pilot light. And for all of a sudden, the last 3 months, guess what? I've been getting a little star approximating. My gas bill is going up $36. And you know what? You know what's on my meter? Exactly what it was 3 months ago. So something's wrong. I come to the city today, to complain about it. And she says, well, I said, I need to talk to somebody from the gas. She brings out this man. I said, I need to talk to you. She said, oh, no, you need to talk to them. You mean the secretaries in here go around reading meters? I don't think so. I've already caught them once in my yard. I said, I have no problem with you check in and read my meter. Close the gates. I don't want my dog running all over the streets. I said, if my shepherd gets killed, someone's gonna pay for her. I said, because they leave the gates up like it's Grand Central Station. And I have no problem if they gonna start reading my bill. So that means 3 months now, I've been overcharged. So what are you gonna do about it? Nothing. That's probably what I expected. Nothing.
So you say you've been overcharged?
Overcharged, because when the cold spell snapped, I turned it off. And it's been off, and I got the figures in which it's been for the last 2 months. And guess what? I keep getting charged, even that last one, $1 or $2 more than the previous bill, and the gas ain't been turned on. So what's the problem
So
here?
you said you actually turned the meter off?
No, I turned my gas heater is off, and my stove doesn't have a pilot light, it's a self-igniter.
Yes.
So who's using the gas? That to go up $1 or $2 more, who's using the gas? I know what it is.
To answer that question, I can do that for you. The
Not
reason
read the
that that
meter.
has been that way is it's not been read, it's been estimated.
Yes.
The dog issue.
Yes, oh, that's the dog issue, the dog's not out 24 hours a day.
Well, the guys reading the meter aren't gonna go in every time, just open.
Oh,
the
so
gate,
nobody, we
wait
do that
to
all
get
over
business.
town here then? Anybody's got a dog out there? If we don't go in their yard, we just-
Dogs that is presumed to possibly be bad, they make a notation of it, which they did on yours.
the only time the dog is out,
And it was notated, the dog was in the yard when they got there for the last.
well, move the goddamn meter then, put it over there. You people have, just like Florida Power. I got a bill from Florida Power years ago for $200. I wasn't even at the house. I was going through a divorce. I was never at the house. I called that lady up. I said, ma'am, somebody's made a mistake here. She said, oh, no, you pay for it, we'll turn it off. I said, all right. So I went out there with duct tape and I taped that meter up. They couldn't possibly read it. So what happened next month? It rolls around again. $100 and some. Ma'am, you made a mistake. They need to come read this meter. Oh, no, we're not gonna read the meter. I said, let me ask you not a question. Does Superman work for you? And she said, what? I said, I had to be X-ray vision to read the numbers because the duct tape is still there. Then with hesitation, they come and read my meter. There's bullshit about a dog in it. How many people in Taylor County owns dogs?
A lot.
And how many turn them out? My dog is only out when I'm home. Otherwise, she's in the house.
Is your old
There should be a
car?
5-minute limit.
Just the back, just the back. If you wanna move that meter, you move it around there to Florida Power and we'll have it done in a,
But your gas meter's inside the fence?
yes.
Okay.
So I have no rights because I have a dog. Is that what you tell me?
I would
And
suggest
then
if
you,
I may at
and
this
it
time,
is, she
that you
doesn't
take over
bite.
the complaint.
She's all looked.
No obligation to respond without other reason.
And
The
that's
public
fine.
comments are 5 minutes and we appreciate when I say appreciate, I don't even pretend to understand. So I think I would suggest, because this is for public comments for 5 minutes, that is noted what your complaint is, and there's a good faith follow-up of some sort, but the council, and neither is the department head at this time prepared to respond and give you information that's not just off the top of your head, because it sounds like you need an answer, right?
Oh, I can give you exactly what's on. the
Well, that's not
meter.
for this forum. It's not on the agenda, so thank you for your public comments, and it will be noted, and somebody will have to follow up so we can have a real conversation to make sure we get down to it.
They'll make arrangements, get with you to read the meter and refund what's owed to.
My truck, if it's gone, my dog's in the house. She doesn't go, I just put her out to do her business and she comes right back in. Because I know dogs get stolen in Campbell County. And I'm not gonna put up with that either. But you know,
Yeah.
this is it. I better go sit.
Mr. Harwood, give it, you think, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the?
Can I speak?
Sure. If
Got some,
someone before you,
Come on, who's the head of it? Go ahead. Come on, no, I'm in no hurry. I'm older than you.
I'm probably older than you.
I'm 82, so.
No, you got me.
Sonny Lawless, 501 Puckett Road. I had to ask you council people one thing, but I'm gonna ask you now. I'd like for y'all to get this podium, looking at that mayor right in the face. And get these people on a V here, where we can look at them, not the backs. I've been in a lot of meetings, and this is one of the few times you ever see have to stand here in a corner like your head. I'd like to see this thing looking right at you, the mayor, or whoever the mayor may be. And have these people on the side like in a V. Then they can look at each other and don't have to look around like this, see who they are. I'd like that council to order this man that y'all hired to run this city, because he had to be the one to do it, I know that. So let's get this place in a V, and have this looking right at the mayor. I appreciate y'all if you look into it. Thank you.
My name is Christopher James. I live at 303 North Quincy Street, Perry, Florida. I'm here today to address the recent Florida Department of Transportation study that was done on my corner where my home is. I don't know if any of you have copies of that report. Does everybody have it? I made copies of the documents. I highlighted.
actually, it's on the agenda. If you-
Oh, it is? I didn't even know. Oh,
It's
should I
not-
just- should
it's
I
not on the
wait?
agenda.
no, we looked at it last week. We looked at it last
I
week.
thought it was on Bay Street and,
And it's not an agenda item. We're just gonna talk about it at the end. We can talk about it now.
oh, we were gonna talk, okay, I knew. Okay. Wait,
Sorry, should I wait? or-
go ahead, go ahead.
I did a lot of homework, by calling different, the county, I called the local, and I called Tallahassee, and also the man that did the study. On page 6. On page 6 on number 3. It talks about the road being a low traveled road, so that's one thing I just bring up, that one of the things they said. When traveling up, Quincy Street, there's no speed limit posted at all. There's not one from one end to the next. But there are several stops in different blocks. So normally the standard, from what they told me, would be 25 miles to 30 miles an hour. But the man that did the report said because the stop signs are at the block at my house, and the block in front of my house, they would never reach the 30 miles an hour speed limit. He also talks about a stop bar in this report. Now, I did not highlight that part, but it's in here if you guys read that. The stop signs that are around the corner where my home is, there's no stop bars. The one at the bank, the stop sign sits way back, further than all the other stop signs in the other corners because there's parking spaces there. So if you stop at the stop sign, then your view is impaired by lots of things. The telephone pole, palm tree, the gray box sits behind, so that's not in play. And then my vegetation. So when I got a call from the office, and I won't mention names, but I got a call from the office, and it was very nice that she called me. She didn't have to, but she did. And said that they got a complaint. I think you're related to that complaint. It's nice to meet you. I've never
Yes.
met you before. So
Yes.
anyhow, I tried to work with it. You know, I don't want any issues. They've come many times and cut this all down. I'm trying not to get emotional because, you know, I'm a gardener. That's my home. I take a lot of pride in what I do. It's not just unkept. Those topiaries and things that are out there, I spend a lot of time to make them that way. They don't grow that way. I fertilize and water that yard every day. I'm out there. So I attempted to cut the tree up. Now, I only did it 6 feet, and that was the recommendation from the different people from these studies that said to do it 6 feet. After talking with Joshua, because I never got to talk to him, he thought that trimming it up another foot, it could be 7 feet off the ground, would clear enough space for to see cars. So then he also, no, I'm sorry, the county road department, they wanted me to take where a stop bar would go. So he said it's from the edge of the street back 10 feet. That's legally where a stop bar would be placed. If the stop bar is painted on that street, which is Bay Street, then it would make cars know where to stop. Right now, you stop at the stop sign, you're way back. So I have photographs, which I brought with me, and I want to show you all, because I did a lot of pictures with different motorists who I'd stopped and asked if they would park in different places so that I could show you what I'm talking about. If you, because I don't know how when you, Shirley, when you stopped, where you stopped, you usually stop at the stop sign. The stop sign sits way back, so my corner is way up, so all that other stuff is blocking it. But if there's a stop bar put 10 feet from the road, it pushes it out further. So when you said you had to ease up out into the road to see, legally, you would have stopped at the stop bar and you could see past. I have photographs where I take the road, only based on speed limit amounts, like if it's 20 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour, which would never be, because that's a school zone. I've learned a lot, you guys, about all this. I have. But there's a city park there, so it said that the speed limit may be 25 because it's a city park, but there's no rules or regulations that makes you put it to 25. It would be 30 or less. There's no sign to say children that play. If there's a sign that says children that play, then it makes the speed limit lower. So I marked the road like he said. So if it's 25 miles an hour and it's 115 feet back is the distance of the law that you would be able to see oncoming cars. I marked it at 100 feet and I did 150 feet. That would be 30 miles an hour. That's what he told me to do. I've marked it with tape. It's out there now. You guys can go if you want to try this and stop and see again. So I did that, and then I photographed the cars coming to see how far back to go. I'm just trying to say what I have out there. I don't want it to be taken down now. I know the sidewalk was an issue. I've taken all that away. I moved it back. I cut a lot of all the stuff that was low up high now. It's above my fence. There's nothing impeding the sidewalk. And then I highlighted things because he says on page 6, lack of crash history motors on West Bay Street, non-traditional had trouble seeing on the northwest corner. Navigating the intersection. And he said that he didn't do a study at night, but that meant night and day. So at night, there's no lighting out there. It's very dark. You cannot see. And he said, based on the crash issues, everybody's had a chance, they can see through that intersection. Then, if you go to the conclusion, he writes, the intersection of West Bay Street on Quincy Street was observed to operate well in safety from this review, despite the current limited sight distance between eastbound and southbound traffic. That's what's in his conclusion. So it's not saying that I have to take everything out and it's dangerous and it's terrible. He just said trimming. He wrote in his conclusion, maintenance, trim or remove. Now I did remove all the lower things and I cut the tree, like I said, 6 feet up, but I did not go to 7 yet. I didn't do that. I didn't have time today. I had too much. I was trying to get all those copies made for you. I didn't know if you had the report. And I did this study with all the different cars parked.
When was the last time we trimmed?
Maybe day before yesterday. I went out and I cut the stuff that was coming back on the bottom, and then I moved all the azaleas and things that were on the sidewalk because he said that was an issue about the sidewalk.
Can you John, if either of you come back.
Have a good day.
I know the last time, I went by there 3 times the last time. I still could not see.
Right. But see, you don't really, wherever, I don't know where you're stopping, but if you're stopping at the stop sign,
Stopping the red tells me.
right at the stop sign. But see, there's not a stop bar, right? The stop bar is planted. That's what he says, both, all three of these different people from different transportation places said, if a stop bar is placed, then it would help you to know where to stop. Now, I did studies on other corners on the end of my street where the Wells building is. And where the Wells building is, you stop at the stop sign, you cannot see past the building. The building is blocking the view of the street. If there's cars parked there at the gym, you cannot see the oncoming traffic. If you drive down Wednesday Street, the opposite way where the bank is, when all those cars are parked, I have photographs of all this. I ask people to help me because I don't, I just wanted to show you the cars are parked. And all the parking spaces, you cannot see oncoming traffic by the bank. There is a large truck that's blocking a stop sign, which belongs to the fair store, blocking the stop sign is in front of the new Stones building. You cannot see the stop sign.
John, can you get back with him on this? As it was the last time I was there, it was not safe.
Right.
And John will get back with you on this, sir.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right. Well, thanks for letting me at least talk.
Anyone else? Yes.
Yes. All right. Please read before opening of sealed bids. At this time, I'm opening the sealed bids for fuel system. I will only be reading the vendor and the amount of the bid. There will be no discussion at this time about any bids that is being opened. These bids will be given back to the purchasing agent and then to the department which the sealed bid is for. And I also need all 5 of you to sign both of these papers that you were in attendance. Okay. Sealed bid from EPI. Like the Johnny Carson show. See what's. Okay, we have some colorful handouts and stuff, brochures, and a lot of really small print. Now, one thing with the fuel system is a question that came up is with electric hooked up and with electric using our own people, because I guess there's no electricity out at that area. So there's a lot of stuff on here that I don't know anything about. I do see 44,000
Fuel pumps,
in one area.
Where?
fuel pumps, fuel
It's-
station.
There's a.
It's
pole
a-
with meter there.
It's metering and keys and electronic feedback,
Additional like.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
smart dip, whatever that is, but this way they'll have key codes and fobs. I'm not sure what all's involved. Automatic tank gauging is what's going to need the electric. As
Fuel management system, yes.
it's exactly right.
There you go.
So- So that number, just plug in the one number that I can see readily, is $44,884.14. Okay. And we'll look at that at a later date. See what we need. Next one. Yeah, and then Barbara Musley, Origin ID, I don't know what that is. Casey, what's
Yeah.
Casey Petroleum? Yeah, I can use that better opener.
Rather through the bid.
Y'all want it.
And I ain't gonna need that.
KC Petroleum.
Please provide following proposal. Something for $66,436.34. Scope of work,
Say the amount again, please.
$66,436.
Thank you.
And they have another proposal. Probably one without electric, I would imagine. It's same copy, maybe it's just duplicates, let me see. Yeah, that's all that is. Okay. See, right. By Spatco Energy Solutions. Furnish and install new gas dispenser, new diesel dispenser, and one new fuel force system management system. W9. Certifications, I not seeing. There's a lot of real small print here. Descriptions. A lot of specs. Hose sizes and all that. Quote is valid for 15 days. Yeah, there's a lot of real small stuff here. Terms and conditions of sale. I don't know what to say. Not seeing any numbers. Business card. So I'm confused. Yeah. There's got to be something on that front page.
It works there.
Yeah.
That's it. Not there.
Okay, at the top, like a heading. Lump sum price $49,395. And of course, we need to read all the small print, and see who's offering what. So. Okay, don't forget to sign this, all 5 of you.
Still got one more bidder.
Or do I?
We can get that at the end.
Oh, yeah.
We got one more for fire, is that fire department?
Yeah, the turnout here. Okay. Oh, yeah. Let's put these back in their folder. That's the first, no, this is EPI construction, the first one I opened. We got 3, 1, 2, 3.
And then you got fire department. Yes.
That one, yeah, so white envelope on that. Okay. Please read before opening of sealed bids. I will only be reading out the vendor and the amount of the bid. There will be no discussion at this time that any bids being open. These bids will be given back to the purchasing agent and then to the department which the sealed bid is for. think these are lists of people she sent it to.
No, that's a bid, it's not sealed.
It says sealed bids. Honeywell put something out, but then what was this? I'll click with it. Honeywell, Whitmer Public Safety Groups, E. Darley, and AS Fire Safety. That sounds like people you send them to. It's not very sealed.
One sealed bid.
And this is from AEST. Fire and Safety. For $3,265.
Each.
What's the amount again?
$3,265.
3265.
Yes, ma'am. One coat and one pants.
That's per. It doesn't list how many total.
Now, this looks a lot like that, but this has prices on them. So that was maybe part of the bid. I don't know. Or they gave an estimate and they're doing this sealed bid, so.
Well, wait a minute.
1948 your price. And 1317.
That's per top.
Per top and bottom is the way they did it, yep, so. That would be about right.
Well, it's clear, not clear how many they need, it's price per outfit.
Yep, so
So 3265 is per outfit.
per outfit.
Okay.
And so that's the same as this, it's just this must have been the original quote to see if we needed to put out for bid. So that was why she included that. That's all I got.
Just the one,
Thank you.
just the one on the.
For the fire gear, yes. Only
Right.
one.
Thank you, Ms. Page.
We'll bring it back next meeting to awards recommendation.
Yeah, bring it back.
I guess they want to know.
I didn't think, are they coming back? That's not it.
Yeah, good.
I just thought we had.
They need to come back as an agenda item with a recommendation and council approval.
I agree with you, but that's not how it's written in the,
Well, I know that, but that's what we said.
I think we need an ordinance
Yes.
to change that.
Yes.
I agree, that's what it should be doing, but that's
Doesn't
not,
need an ordinance.
I'm talking about an ordinance to change the procedure.
Purchasing.
No, you don't need an ordinance.
Policy.
It's a policy. But yeah,
I thought that was in the charter.
It's
Yeah,
in the
that's in the
charter.
charter.
Yes, it is.
show it to me and
Well, she'll send you the page number. Yes, sir.
Tired of lying.
We can pull that up.
show it to me.
Not right now.
If you know it's in there, you ought to know where it is.
I haven't memorized it and it's in there.
Apparently you have memorized it if you're telling me that it's in there.
I'll give it to you next week.
Yes.
Got a page, Mr. Brown?
I-
Got a page number.
It's not in there.
Is
It's
it
not in the
in there?
charter.
I think I have a reference, so, yeah,
Okay.
it's this thing. I've been trying to get on the Wi-Fi here, so I'm just gonna have to look for a second on my iPad. So sorry.
Cause I can have you look it up on.
It's just
I
kind of,
normally bring my own.
I'll just write out easier trying now.
Awarding a bid shall be based on lowest and best bid. The purchasing agent shall take into consideration price, quality, blah, blah, blah. Purchase of items that would exceed the category amount budgeted shall be submitted to city council for their approval.
What is the next one, son?
If you're purchasing through in a state contract,
Exceeding amount budgeted, what if you, okay, if you budget 50,000? Something. Then the only if it goes above,
according to the way the code's written.
what I'm seeing too. Other than that, it doesn't come from the council, so it
That's the way I understand it.
doesn't have to, it doesn't need to. Whatever been procedures about these state contracts, only got good and bid, do you?
The contracts usually cut, if it's a state contract, we can piggyback. That's a piggyback.
If you're a state, if you vote on a state contract, you can just straight it out, you didn't even have to pick it there.
Well, it technically it is a piggyback, yes. There used to be like a little code on each state contract, and you would reference it on your POs. That's how I learned to do that back in the day. So you had a reference forever. It's like, oh, we got those computers off the state contract for Dell or whatever.
Might get beat up for this. But we're taking everything away from the people that we employ.
Shirley,
I know I'm getting beat
if
up.
you sat
I
here,
know I'm getting
if
beat
you
up.
sat here and listened to that circus that went on at the last meeting about that waste pickup, that's
Yeah.
a darn good reason.
Yeah, that was a bad thing. What are you gonna do, John?
I think what we're taking away is the power of the council to decide for the citizens that elected us. And we're giving it away. And I think we have a responsibility.
We do, but
Yes, we do.
we don't trust anyone to be hired to do anything.
How can you get into such an embarrassing situation that we got into tonight, misspelling someone's name? Especially her name.
Right back.
It will all work its way out.
So they're going to bring back a policy? Or what are you bringing back?
I don't think we can bring back a policy. Can't bring a policy to change the charter.
This is actually in the charter.
Now let's go there.
I couldn't.
You're looking at the charter. Are you sure you're looking at the charter? Or are you looking at the purchasing manual? There's a difference between the two.
I'm looking at Article 7 of the charter, financial matters.
And it was just my knowledge, Bill, that it's a separation of executive and legislative. And it's the day-to-day management. That's the way I've always had it
Exactly.
interpreted.
You are exactly right. But when you executive everyday management screws up like they did last week, last meeting over those bids, something that simple. Something as simple as spelling someone's name correct, this council needs to step up and take over.
You're right. I was looking at ordinance.
Yeah. It's not in the charter.
If I can speak. You're right, as far as the language, only noting the bids, but I guess I would suggest that it falls between Article 3, Section 3.01 of the charter that talks about the council always having the power and authority for inquiries and investigations regarding any city administration. But that's where the interference in administration is limited.
We're not going there. I hope.
When I say investigations, the inquiry, I believe at least what I was hearing you say, Councilmember Burns, is that you wanted to hear what the decision was
But yeah,
as
that's
to the
fine.
bids. So I feel like that falls within the council's authority for inquiry. Investigation sounds really big.
Well, it's just like the garbage. That was an investigation. I mean, it's,
And I only need note that because that's in the particular part of the charter that deals with prohibitions of the council. So I believe that is a very broad description, but charter does, I believe, when there's a question, trump ordinances. And I believe that's where the authority, there's nothing in the charter that states explicitly that the bid cannot be decided by the council. But
Just-
the
it
interference.
Just
with city
says
administration.
the council will develop a process. Charter says,
Right, which was
That's all.
executed.
and that's what we're doing.
What you're saying is the council needs to be completely involved in every bit that happens.
We need to know the results.
yeah, that's not a problem. That's not a problem.
So just letting us know informationally what's decided.
Or my big problem is they were ready and willing to award a bid. Props. And when I asked for the tabulation or whatever, no one's brought it forward yet. Because apparently there is not one. I don't know if there
We
is.
sat in that meeting and the Waste Pro fella even said, you're cheaper by the yard. You won the bid.
There's more to it than by the yard.
And it turned out that the whole list, and I even sent that to you, had all kinds of inaccuracies in it, that the sheet that he came up with after the fact. So
Tommy agreed to $200,000 over 5 years. Was pretty close to being accurate. And if you think I'm gonna sit up here and award anybody a bid like that, ain't gonna happen.
we will,
And
Process it.
nobody wants to do that.
no, of course not.
We're moving on here.
Well,
Moving on to general business. Agenda item 6A. Public hearing and final reading ordinance. Number 1028. This is having to do with the ditch, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
How about half true?
Yes.
In order that the city council of the city of Perry, Teller County, to order regarding certain land, conveying certain land, and to provide an effective date.
What's that ditch that was running through that property that I think there was a mess up in the deed 70, 80 years ago. But we got to do it by ordinance so I can sign the quick claim deed over to them so they can sell the property.
And we still don't know why the ditch was there to start with.
This is from 1933.
Oh,
Yes,
none of us know.
no,
There's no benefit that's been clear.
Unless we heard a story, none of us knows firsthand.
Well, it would help to know why it was there, to know if it was still needed.
They
It's
may
just my
have,
personal opinion.
they may have filled it in or something. There's a house on it.
Yeah.
there's a
I
house
know
on
that area, some areas, that places we have, and that's one.
Where's
Holds
the,
water.
is that the ditch, John?
that's the ditch.
Yeah.
We have to been filled in.
Whatever that used to have been, it's not been in use for what, 7 decades almost?
Sounds like it.
So that use,
More like 90.
that benefit is long gone. where it might have been.
30 years after.
We don't have any utilities going through it or anything, do we?
No.
There's no real reason for us to keep it.
Just, it goes through the house.
Goes on the
It's under the
house.
It looks like it was a man-made ditch at one time that they dug out. The thirties.
Trying to keep it back.
Touches two other pieces of property.
I've been told that the town used to flood back before they cut the bay up. Way back. And not so much anymore since everything got rearranged. It might have been what it was about. I don't know. I'm speculating, I don't know.
That they've been restored.
Anyone from the public?
Oh,
to
well,
speak of this item?
That's funny.
Nancy Gomez. 1015 North Jefferson Street, Perry, Florida, 32347. May I ask where you're referring to this ditch is located?
Johnson Tripling, the house. That house, the yellow house right there on the corner that no one, I've never seen anybody come in and out.
Cinder block?
It's
Yeah.
the great yard here and it's right across the road from there.
Yeah, the road goes. by the
That
house.
used to be many years ago. Pace Field. That was a landing strip.
Sure was. No football field.
Oh, it's not a ditch, it's a land.
There.
Is that what you're saying?
It was a landing strip.
Wow.
As in planes.
As in plane.
Yeah.
Like pre-World War II,
What?
pre-World War II.
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah, I heard that was Barry's first airport.
yes.
Back in the Biowing days.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Does that solve that?
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, Bill.
Yes, actually, trying. No, the last.
But we would add
Go
all.
ahead.
That was a landing strip?
That was a landing strip.
So we'll probably give John to go ahead and sign.
So it might have been a dish right there for the.
So,
Get off the runway.
Yeah.
in a second.
Second.
Good first.
Councilmember Brian.
Yes.
Councilmember Landry.
Yes.
Councilmember Woodball.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Gentry.
Yes.
Mayor Hampton.
Yes. To that item 6B.
That needs some, more work to it.
We read it.
The,
Second one.
yeah, I got, I'll wait for the second one.
Yeah.
The, after ordinance number 955. Was set at 11/5/25, it's no longer 11/5/25, is it?
Because it says they'll increase. Read the rest of that sentence. That's-
Okay, that was the other. Okay, and, the other thing is. Where it's set in the back where it says pursuant to section 2.07 of the charter, council members shall. That's not what the charter says. That's not in the charter. Just says salary shall be set in ordinance, that's all.
That's what 2.07 says.
But
That's what 2.07 says.
what's that,
The council pay should be set by ordinance.
period?
And then the other one,
It's,
2.0.
we're not trying to change the charter wording. We're changing an ordinance 955.
which creates a new ordinance. That's
So,
what,
you know, but you won't. Doesn't really have anything to do with 2.07.
this is worded exactly how it is in the code. All I changed was the word monthly to bi-weekly.
No, but you can't change the charter.
I didn't change it. The charter,
No, yes, you have,
I changed section 2.71
of the
of
charter,
of the code.
of the charter.
Ordinance 722 is what it refers to.
2-71 pay for council.
That's not down in the charter.
That's an order. That's in the code.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, in ordinance.
Yeah.
So you forget that 2.07. It's got nothing to do with what.
I just worded it the way it exactly is in the code now. I
Yeah.
changed that one word.
Well,
We can,
that's,
this is how it reads right now in your code.
the,
Yeah, it's just pointing back to the council we pay by ordinance.
yeah, okay, I mean, I don't have a problem with. We just need to fix it.
What do you
If
want?
we all happy with it, I'm happy.
Except for, we don't need to.
It's not gonna hold on. It's just-
All I'm saying is
We're
we're
not
doing,
changing. We know we're not changing.
just pointing back to the charter for reference.
Just historical reference.
Okay. Pursuant. Okay.
Is there a motion?
Yeah, we need a motion to accept.
First reading.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
It's first reading.
It's first reading.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Where's the second? Oh. Yeah, we don't do anything. You need to put second reading up there. At the top.
First reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, next you advertise it and then they vote on it next meeting.
That's probably the second, first reading.
Right.
Yes, the first
Yeah, but change that first and then the next one, the second. See what he's done with that room?
It's the standard that's on top of all the ordinances.
You just write the date in. Come about that top right hand corner.
Yeah.
That's where you write the dates in. It'll just be introduction and first reading.
Yes. But there's no
But this is the
space.
first reading, then there's no second, no place for the second reading. That's what I'm saying.
The
Wouldn't
second reading.
introduction be the first reading?
Introduction, first reading is the same date, public hearing and passage and effective. Yeah.
Yeah, introduced today, first reading. There'll be a second reading.
Can we move on?
Yes.
Same thing, agenda item 16, introduction and first reading. Ordinance number 1030. So like food trucks on Highway 19. This is going to need discussion.
Yes.
I'm not going to read that. John. Yeah, but there's some changes. That might need to be made.
All I did is add to the code we already have. Mobile food vendors that are fully licensed and insured are allowed to conduct business on private property. But since we've written this, I've had several concerned citizens and concerned staff come to me, say that's not quite restrictive enough for what we're trying to accomplish. We're a little worried that Highway 19 might become food truck city. And we're worried that allowing too many food trucks on 19 are taken away from existing businesses in town.
But we already do that. Oh, it's already allowed.
It's loud, but not on
Highway
19.
19 is an industrial.
These were some of the things the city of Tallahassee had in their code. Can operate a private residence, residential zones.
On private residence, and yet here we say on private property, so what's the difference?
You want to be zone commercial property, but most of it, I think all of 19's commercial in it.
I guess so, it is one way or another.
They had no rules for what they call temporary mobile operations, which is 8 days out of 30 or less. For stationary mobile operations, they're requiring you to do site improvements and obtain city utility connections. parking plan, restroom plan, solid waste plan.
I don't have a problem with the way you got it worked. I mean,
I mean,
what we're talking about doing.
I don't have a problem with it either, and we can always adjust later if we find that it becomes an
Yeah.
issue. There are mobile equipment, they can mobilely get out of there.
And what also is important, I mean, the state law still guides regarding the kind of food permits that are
Oh,
allowed
yeah.
with these. I guess the state calls it mobile food establishments. So if they can go through those hoops and still make, and it doesn't restrict. I think one of the questions, right, was whether we're gonna be restricted to only mobile establishments with brick and mortars or allowing other people.
Yeah, we've kind of gone away from that, and just
Yeah.
allowing placement within the city. We can regulate where they can and can't set up, but we can't regulate whether or not they can operate in the city. Because of that ruling that was made during COVID, mobile food vendors. John and I've discussed it several times about making sure that we're not creating an eyesore on Highway 19, something that we have fought for years to try to improve the appearance of. And that's where I don't think we should go to allow it to be like the Wild West of food trucks on Highway 19. I agree that we should allow people to set up there, but we need to regulate where they can set up. If it's zoned for a restaurant, they can set up. It's something that's compliant with current zoning would be smart to do. If it's regulated, or it's allowable by that zoning, that's fine. But just not let them set up on private residences or locations where you can't have a restaurant. So that we are complying with our own zoning requirements when we're doing that.
Well, I guess that's where I'm confused, because we're changing it to say that they are allowed to conduct business on private property.
Private property could also be a private business. They
It
own
can
the
also
property.
be a residence.
Yes, ma'am, but it's a residence is not zoned to allow a food truck,
Okay.
and it's private property. But a restaurant on Highway 19 is private property as well. It's not public property.
Right.
So it's kind of confusing the way that word's being used. It's still private property, but it's allowable to have a restaurant where it's not allowable to have a restaurant in a residence.
So basically, commercial, so.
It's as long as it's zoned to allow restaurants, there's an exception for restaurants there, yes. And we'd have to look at the zoning to make sure. I think the location that you were set up would be compliant. I'd have to look at the map to make sure.
Basically, just
We can check those out.
on what we have now.
Yes, take what we already have in place.
So would you say properly zoned, private property?
You could add that in there for an explanation if you need to, and that's totally a council decision. But I would suggest that we allow them to set up in areas that are zoned for restaurants. And if we just kind of word it that way, it would eliminate discussion.
Yeah, because they got them all in the front yard.
Yes, ma'am.
People,
Well, I think Highway 19, 99.9% commercial intensive is gonna be allowed anywhere, but that's just to save us a little bit.
There are a couple residences on Highway 19. And what started all this is someone complained about the location they were set up in, that he was not complying with the zoning anyway. So he just wanted to set something up. He didn't have all this stuff together to run a mobile food vendor. And because we wouldn't allow him to do that, he complained on others. That's what it amounts to. But they have all the certifications they need, and they're compliant with food handling requirements.
Any other comments?
So for a first reading, I guess you don't need a motion, but we're adding comply with restaurant zoning.
Is consistent with what we already have.
Complying with current zoning
Basically,
regulations.
properly zoned.
Yes.
That's
That would,
Properly
yeah.
zoned, private property.
Say that's reasonable. Yeah. I said, just stay with the zoning we already have. I mean, you can do it with brick and mortar, you can do it with a mobile. The way
That what you say, Steve?
I think it's all commercially done, I think it is.
Yeah.
You can stay on what you have.
I can check the LDR for that piece of parcel after the meeting, and let you know.
Danny, can you check another parcel for me?
Yeah, I will give you that. the meeting. Yeah, we'll do it.
Brandy was ready to whip it out.
I gotta know.
Yeah,
You know what John said, 99% of it's commercial anyway. along that chain.
Yes, it's not-
it is.
Yeah, industrial or whatever.
I understand when you don't want a mobile truck sitting on a residential zone, piece of property.
Okay, we're gonna move on to agenda item 16. Resolution 2823 05. Reference general fund budget amendment. The resolution of the city of Perry modifying budget for the general funds fiscal year 2022. -23.
Fiscal year we're in right now.
This item was tabled last go around. And Bill brought me the transfer thing, and this is all to do with that rural water management and their prohibition. If you want to get further grants, and we signed a contract with,
You're making an assumption now.
it's in writing. It was a contract that was signed.
Not what the contract says is you will not use water revenue for other than water.
Correct.
And we already have been doing it. Rural water has got no authority to tell us how to run our accounting system,
That's correct.
nor does DEP.
That's correct.
And I have not seen anything from, general accounting principles or the governmental accounting standards board that says we need to come up with this
Allow me to.
manipulation.
Okay, allow me to use an example. I'm gonna pick on Jamie because the police department gets a water bill every month.
That's right.
And this is the same exact principle that you instituted with the fuel that they use, anything from the warehouse. It is done as a check, an invoice and a check. That's exactly what this
You
is.
know, I'm gonna disagree.
I know you are.
That's not selling water or electric or gas. That's an interfund transfer.
No, it's
What
a
I gave
fee. It's
What
a
I gave
fee.
you is the way the budget was set up. No little tick marks. That's the way the budget to the.
But this
general
is
fund
not
was
what
set up.
they're, it would be a 300 object code, and I put that in the email to you
Now.
after that. That's the general accounting
You're not
code.
gonna change my mind, but I know what I'm talking about. That's why the state of Florida gives me a license and not one to you.
What kind of license?
When, whatever manipulation. What they want to do is hide what we're doing, what we've been doing. Whenever it's all over. That auditor, you got a copy of the second page of that audit. He's gonna come back in, and he's gonna say, interfund transfer.
No, he's not.
Just like what?
No, he's not, because it's a 300 object code
Yes, he
for
will.
services.
Yes, he will.
He's
Because-
not doing it for water, gas, or warehouse.
Yes, he will. Guarantee, this
He's
is right
not-
out of the audit.
I know it's right out of the audit. I know.
I'm not, going to be involved in manipulation of these records, and that's what they're causing to do. And it's also, some people call it cooking the books, hiding what we're doing and what every other city does.
It's putting
You
fees out.
checking it is, cause I,
We'll have the auditor come out and talk to you, who also has a CPA degree, even
Bring
though
him
I
on,
do not.
bring him on. He lied to me once already, so I don't know what I'm gonna believe or
And,
not.
and also the Rev Plan people are
I
gonna
don't
come in.
care about those people,
Well, you and I have argued on the same side on that. I get it. I'm trying to solve
I
the
know.
problem.
but,
when is it coming back?
I don't know if they've got the report done or not. Lois needed to get them something. I don't know if she did or not, and she's off tomorrow, but maybe they can make it to the next meeting or the one after that. It'd be helpful.
How soon do you all need to get this done?
Oh, this can wait till September 28th.
Okay.
For all I care.
Okay.
I'm just bringing it back because it's got to get done.
So,
no, now,
Should it be done, Bill, in your?
just like we've been doing it, where they messed up and not a soul up here knows it. guarantee none of you know it. When they got this agreement, that agreement says you will not use water revenue for general fund.
That's right.
Yeah, I remember him standing up there and saying.
That's what it
And
says.
we've been doing it just as fast as we can spend that money. Now, go to the other side.
When,
It was,
because if we don't follow those rules and regulations, we won't be able to get any water funding for projects.
that, or sewer, that's what
Yes.
they've said. Now, they've not cracked on us yet.
So we,
That's not, that's us, Madison, Live Oak.
It's everybody.
And there's a
It's everybody,
long
yeah.
It's
list.
Miami, it's everybody.
And if you don't think that, these are administrative people doing this. There's somebody running that show up there. He can't take the heat. Nor will the governor.
so we're still not in compliance with.
Of course not. And that's what,
But-
if we're doing
One of the
this,
Administrative persons.
this would bring you into compliance. This is a way to solve it. And we don't even have to get it done this year.
Penny, it's still transferring money from water to general.
It's paying for services.
No, it's not.
Anyway, we'll have the auditors and the red plan people
Bring 'em
further work this with
Bring
you.
'em on.
Hampton.
So how do you
Mayor
handle it?
Hampton.
You don't handle it this way, how do you handle
Just like we have always handled
Which
it.
is.
Interfund transfers. What
it?
it
That's
is.
what it was.
No, no.
Ms. Hope,
They're calling.
is there any way that you can get involved just so we can make sure that we're doing things the legal way?
I am
Because I
very,
don't want to be voting for something that's.
if that's the council's pleasure, I heard Mayor Hampton when she was
Yeah.
trying to request, I have spoken to Penny and she's given me information. And actually, one of parts of my report was to ask how, if at all, the council would want me to participate. And it's very preliminarily the case that actually Councilman Burns's point may suggest, based on my growing understanding of the charter, that to change that language may take a change of the charter. It's a little deeper than I
No,
thought it
this has nothing
was.
to do with the charter.
Like I said,
Yeah.
preliminarily, I understand this is not the same issue, but the issue of intertransfers was made a big deal that prompted the 1980 something revision of the charter. I'm just saying that it may be,
No.
I'm pulling at a string that's getting deeper. So I stopped because the council did not request that I get into that. But it seemed like there's some history there that may be deeper than just what I understood at first in listening to.
This is you needed if anything, you would need a CPA lawyer involved.
Let me ask you, you're gonna get involved in this, you're gonna spend your time and all that. Let me ask you two very simple little questions. You got a law degree. Tell me
Yes,
what GAP is.
I don't know.
Tell me what,
I mean-
GASB is.
As it relates to financial accounting,
Yeah,
I don't know.
then you need to practice law.
This is really not.
Got nothing to do with
That's
law.
not in her.
Here's the clear fact. Oh, I'm not being defensive. That's why I asked, do you want me to inquire? Because every aspect of the law, just as, although very well versed into what your experiences are, you would have to research to make sure that what you understand is even correct now. That's why I said preliminarily, what was described in the meetings, I thought was just an issue of semantics. But when I saw that it could, I didn't say that it is, it could be attached further, then all the accounting principles is not legally what I'm interested in. It's the idea of the council being able. It seemed like Councilmember Burns' conviction is that he cannot by law do it because it is cooking the books. And I was wanting to know, even if it was permissible semantically, is there any other authority that's not, or precedent with the city council that would say, no, you should not do this? It's not just these accounting principles. So-
This is generally accepted accounting principles. And that's what I'm saying is, why don't we do this venture together with the auditors and the accounting experts that's their field, and we'll all learn together. And hopefully we can satisfy Mr. Bryans, but I do understand he's saying, let's keep doing it the way we've been doing it because local rule is, local rule rocks. You have the most power. And he's right. These people are trying to usurp the local rule. But we did sign a contract and they can all of a sudden say, you signed it, you're not following our things. We've warned you, we've warned you, we've warned you. Tough luck.
And also understand, and I
So-
want it to be clear, there's a number of things that are permitted in accounting that if you had a particular part of your charter that prohibits it, even if it's a permissible, you still have to deal with, you can't just go against things that are in the charter because it's permissible. So that's the even kill. I'm not trying to answer the question of whether or not is feasible, because it sounds like it is, but the idea is there anything legally holding the council to be responsible to the city, as we said, we will not operate this way. And if we do, then that may need to be some type of electorate decision in conjunction with the council. That's what I'm interested in, the political aspect, not the.
When will you be able to get Elder to that?
I'll make some phone calls and I'll call Rev Plan and all that. And to answer this with Bill, and if the council wants me to put transfers from the water department to general fund, I'll do it.
Why is the gas tax not included?
Because it's already going to the general fund.
It's going, no, it's not.
Local option gas
It goes
tax?
to the gas tax and then to the general fund, just like water goes
Yes.
to water and
Yes,
then general fund.
yes.
But it's not in
Okay.
there.
On this particular one, because it didn't need to be corrected. It was already fine.
We're going to table this.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm open, Bill, if you want to change around what funds support it and what don't, we can prorate that together. I'm open for suggestions, but this is a discussion that we have to have. So I'm bringing it to you.
Okay, we'll table it, agenda item number 2023-5 and 2023-6.
Not six.
You can do 6.
Yeah, six is there too.
Six.
Six is different. Yeah, we don't necessarily have to table that. I hope, because we have money in the gas fund now with the latest May revenues.
But this one,
This is just a budget amendment because we now have reached 101% as of May 31st in the gas department's revenue. We have 17,000 and we only need 11,000. So,
okay,
yes,
I
sir.
would, the last sentence there, the money is to come from, and I would add unanticipated increase in gas revenue.
Let me write that
which
down.
one are you, which one are you speaking of?
Yeah, because that sounds like you just.
But we have gotten it, so it's not anticipated, it's in the bank.
Well, however, it increased the revenue somehow.
Yes.
this year.
Yes, okay. Unparticipated budgeted revenue. Okay. All right, so maybe you can vote on this as amended,
Yeah,
because you've already increased the people's on call pay.
Okay, what's the wording again?
The money is to come from unanticipated budget gas revenue. Because we're already at 101%, and we've still got four more months to go, so we got it. We've got the 11,000 to pay what we're paying the people, so.
motion to.
That's Article 6, right?
Councilmember Bryant.
Yes.
Councilmember Landry.
Yeah.
Councilmember Woodfall.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kitchen.
Yes.
Mayor Hampton.
Yes. Then item 6, public hearing. Council public hearing for the purpose of considering approval of city manager's recommended capital improvement program. This is the year 2023 through 2028. Gonna
Well, somebody explain to me why we got to do a public hearing, 2 agenda items for passing that. That's confusing me. I just want to know for myself.
Deputy said we had to.
But when you do like a final reading, you do a public hearing and final reading. Why can't you do public hearing and resolution? What's the difference? Well,
It's funny the way they're grouped for ordinances, but it's not grouped for resolutions. Which, that was just pointed out, was kind of weird.
Yeah,
And I don't know if it's Robert's Rules of Order or,
it's a resolution.
That's weird. Yeah, that makes sense. Resolutions are lower on the totem pole.
Correct.
Think charter.
exactly. That's something you could look into.
I mean,
Don't spend more.
there's
time
no
doing
need to
it.
look into it, but I could
Spend more than
build
an hour.
the resolutions, not even so.
Is it any,
We would,
I would suggest it could be joined.
but it's already like this now.
any comments? You're gonna press those two together?
Moving forward, when we have a resolution and public hearing, I think the charter said you have to have a public hearing to adopt the 5-year. Stephanie said it's always been done as a separate agenda item for the public hearing and then one to adopt the resolution.
Let's do about.
We all haven't got to that agenda yet. Y'all just went to the public
You
hearing.
know, we do in the public hearing. We did adopt it last time out of order, so
Yeah.
we gotta have a public hearing tonight.
That was it. We just did it.
Nobody spoke.
No, did we ask if anybody had?
Yeah, Shirley did.
I did.
I'm sorry, I was just zoned out.
Things go pretty fast around this room.
Sometimes, but
I'm trying to go ask, anyone? Comment on the 5-year plan? Council,
now can we go?
Now you go to
Did you
the,
make a motion?
now you, agenda item,
now,
yeah, now you go to it.
if you-
Councilmember Bryan,
Yes.
Councilmember Landry,
Yes.
Councilmember Woodhull,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ketchum,
Yes.
Mayor Hampton.
Yes. Okay, resolution. Yeah, you too.
I'll get to it on the screen. Yes, agenda item 6-8. Benji Tootin has approached us. He wants to redo the ball field at Catherine Norman Park and Heritage Park using his own funds and resources. He doesn't want to give the city the money and let us do it. He just wants to take care of himself. And he wanted to get y'all's approval before he started working on it.
Motion. Second.
And well, I want to get with Hope and make sure we get some kind of liability signed. With just in case one of them get hurt working on our fields.
You know what his plans are?
From what he told me, he just wants to do the fences and the clay and make the fields nice again.
He'll do it right.
Both parts.
One part, he said. It's wide.
Are we gonna be able to walk around on Heritage
Oh, yeah.
still?
Oh, yeah. Just right there, those 2 ball fields in the middle of this.
Yeah, and the fences around it.
Take the, what was the golf or tennis, something. where-
Disc golf. Disc
Take
golf.
that out.
That'll probably stay. It's not affecting the ball fields.
Second.
Councilmember Bryan,
Yes.
Councilmember Landry,
Yes.
Councilmember Woodhull,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ketchum,
Yes.
Mayor Hampton.
Yes.
That's something we don't need to get involved in, where they do, we gotta make y'all.
He just wanted y'all blessing, really. Why didn't he need to be able to make?
That's a little decent.
Yeah. I'm not gonna slow him down.
Then item 6M. Council will review and discuss amendment to a state garden fund loan agreement. BW 62060.
As far as shading.
Council discussed Durkin Park shade towers quote and take any action deemed necessary.
We reached out to the company that installed the playground equipment called Game Time. Just asked to, they give us a quote for putting a shade topper on it. Came back at
36.
35,660.
That number one. We can do that, can be, whatever it takes.
Middle poles.
Yeah, I don't know. what
Oh,
it's there. And then down there with the permit side. We need the permits.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can work with them to cut some of that stuff out. I went ahead and submitted it to that same T-Mobile hometown grant, just in case. They didn't say you couldn't have more than one, so I went ahead and threw it in there since we had the quote and everything.
I got a call into Big Top too, and they just didn't get back to me. I asked if they could rush it and get me something by today, but it didn't happen. So with that kind of price, we really should put it out for bid,
Yeah, this is just,
We really should look into doing it ourselves.
that too.
That's ridiculous.
I'm trying to get this done. You're.
So you gotta get something, that one has 90-mile-an-hour wind specs. And that needs to be taller too. That's not the same playground set.
that's because they cut there's tops on those things. They're gonna cut, that's what that first line was, remove those tops that are already there.
What's the warranty on that lifespan?
Probably not, because
We've already had breaks on it.
it's first,
Chinese crap.
Already had one?
We've had a couple of, with the equipment itself,
Oh, okay.
bars breaking.
that first line, wind greater than 90 miles an hour, you gotta remove the fabric. So the first time that happens, they're gonna tell you you didn't remove the fabric.
Oh, yeah.
So
Who built the one at the splash pad? We did, or we got it in the contract? We did it out.
The canopy,
Pad at, Jergens.
there's just a couple umbrellas there, right?
No, we have a awning outside that they can sit up on the picnic tables and everything out there now.
Oh, now that's more like a pole barn, a pole barn. Yeah, we had that.
Can we do something like that, but just go higher with it?
We've talked about it. You can probably build one for $5,000 or something.
No, it'd be substantially more than that with size.
Because of the height.
Equipment, but that is an option we can explore.
Yeah, you can't have the metal poles because it get destroyed, but wood poles, pole barn.
We're gonna have to do something, because if not, we're gonna be back in the same predicament again, where the sun is gonna dry that equipment out and we will be buying more. Yes.
That whole barn type. My concern is this. Poking holes in the top.
Oh, yeah.
That whole barn. Be there.
Especially like
16-foot.
Mayor just said, the one that's gotta be a lot ridge.
The shame of it is that 2 years ago, we had
The one at Lot Ridge is fine.
Vegan.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Whatever we do, we need to get it done. This is a way to.
I'd just be worried about the aesthetics of a pole barn over it, but it might look all right.
You can get colored
Roof.
tin and they would finish the wood out. I think people build barndominiums. I think there's a lot of ways to do it. I haven't looked into it too much myself, but I know some people really fix them up pretty nice.
Oh, maybe get green metal. You want Anthony to get a quote, and then if we bring it back to you, and if we'll need to bid it, we'll know if we need to do that. And then we can make a budget amendment from the ARPA money.
It may be better to pay more and get something solid.
Well, yeah,
Yes, yes.
I don't think it'll be more either,
Yeah, but it won't be more than $35,000.
but we get green metal or something that looks better. And
Yeah, like the metal out at Lot Ridge.
Then you can do it big enough.
Anthony wanted to bring up some other issues at that park.
yeah, while you're at it.
While we're on this agenda item. Anthony want to bring up some other issues at that part while we're on this agenda item.
While we're on church,
Yes.
before the beginning, if you will, of trying to get ready for splash pads. Which we put a decent amount of maintenance money into the splash pad itself, the pumping filtration equipment this year. The internal piping is dilapidated down and come through the plumber that I talked with, it needs to be redone in order to be able to open the bathrooms at Jerkin Splash Pad. Health department will not open that pad up without this being done. Council approval. Trying to plan for it already this year to go in and replace fixtures and such as that in the plumbing that needs to be done. Do we want to try to move forward with replacing it all and making it all one better facility? Or we want to attempt to do what we need to?
Are you talking about replacing the piping?
Yeah,
and
the piping and
fixtures?
the fixtures. The fixtures are I can't tell you how long, but are dilapidating down with rust and such as this.
Was that just the bathrooms, Anthony, or is that just the bathroom?
This is all in reference to the bathroom.
Okay, so the rest of the splash pad's fine, it's just the bathrooms.
Yes, I put together and it was a quick rough estimate to repair everything, somewhere around about $18,000. That will be all new fixtures, sinks and
Big
piping.
bathrooms.
That'll first be for the men and women.
It looks like we're gonna have gas revenue the rest of this year. That's gonna. So that's a good use for it.
Or ARPA funds that have to be spent in about 1.5 years.
Well, then we got to do it for that, right? Good work,
Because then we can build up our savings account. Wouldn't that be something?
you know. Well, let's do it with that then.
So you're saying that like the whole plumbing, they're gonna go in there and do whatever all that needs to be done? I went out there today and it was awful.
And electrical, didn't you say something about electrical this morning?
Well, that's not as major as the plumbing, but there would be a little bit of electrical that needs to be done to get the lighting brought up to date in there. But that was included with that rough estimate of $18,000.
Big bathrooms and electrical, it's,
Doing work. That would be I had contacted one of our local plumbers. And that was like I said, a rough estimate, and then adding a little bit to the end for the amount of days work he would expect to be able to accomplish that job. Plus the rough estimate of the cost of all the materials. And using our electrician for the lights.
Yeah,
It'll be a bit.
But yeah, scope of work kind of thing, and yeah.
Some type of approval blessing, if you will.
To move forward.
Yes.
Got mine?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Okay, what? Do we do? You just need to get a bid out.
Yeah, he'll come up with a scope of work and then bid it out. Yeah, all right. There you go, Anthony.
Doesn't include everything.
Well, that was gonna be my next question, go ahead and bring everything up and forward.
Yeah, everything.
We're going to do this,
The plumbing, the
the
fixtures,
plumbing, the fixtures, the holes, the lighting.
the halls, lot, and which is the electrical you're
Yes,
talking about, okay.
Anthony else.
And the topper,
Roof is good.
and the topper.
No, those.
That's separate, that's separate.
That's your.
For now, I will research it, on where they putting the old more kids. And
Okay.
wait on our other facilities to contact us with how much they could build the top floor. And we'll go with that.
So with this problem going on, are the splash pads are able to be open or they're not letting it open?
That splash pad is not, we had another electrical issue
Okay,
here, that has been done, we're now back with getting everything in order. For
So both are closed
inspection.
now?
Yes, ma'am, for inspection, hopefully, possibly by the end of this week, open this splash pad back up, depending on how quick the levels are correct.
Is there any way we can let the public know what's going on?
Yeah, because over the weekend, They were closed down for the weekend and I got phone call after phone call. And no one had gone out there and put up any signage saying that it was closed down.
It was and then removed and then put back up.
Okay.
That way, so it's.
But see, now I know what to tell them when they call. I appreciate that.
Put it also on the city's informational Facebook page.
Can do that.
Okay. Agenda item 6J. Council to discuss modifications of the land development regulations. Changing the maximum height of structure from 35 feet to 50 feet. And commercial intensive CI zoning district. And council, I gotta start reading first. And council to take any action as deemed necessary.
John are saying, if we want to do this, we need to approve this application.
Yes.
Is that where we are?
Yes. Y'all approve the application, it goes to planning and zoning and then back to y'all.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion to make the application.
Second,
Councilmember Brian.
Yes.
Councilmember Landry,
yes,
Councilmember Woodfall,
No,
Vice Mayor Ketchum,
Yes.
Mayor Hampton.
Yes. Then item 6, done.
Council to continue discussion on policy resolutions and take any actions deemed necessary. The only one that I want to talk about was city street naming. I read through a lot, researched a lot of them. I found a good one I like that was city property naming. So go ahead and cover all your property. It should be buildings and structures, streets, other real property, including open spaces and parks. I sent it all to y'all Friday to look over, see if y'all had any additions or suggestions you want to change to it. For the street renaming part, it was similar to how we did the street lights and speed bumps. We had to have rent support of at least 75% of the affected property owners. It also says renaming of existing streets is generally discouraged due to impacts to abutting property owners, emergency response times, and regional wayfinding.
I would add,
I'm not familiar with wayfinding.
I'm guessing GPS, changing street names, mapping, yeah.
in 7D. We need to get that in writing. And I would include post office. They're the ones who,
Say it again.
It's 911.
Okay, adversely affect, okay.
You change the street name now, it takes quite a while for it to work through all the electronic systems.
You said post office and
I just.
Is 911 on there?
it says emergency,
Okay.
emergency vehicle
Everything
in writing from,
whoever. Property owner.
Well, the person that wants it's the one that needs to pay for it, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The statement saying it won't adversely affect those things. And post office saying include post office won't adversely affect post operations.
I think there's actually only one house. And that's his sister's.
Is it just his sister?
I went back and listened to January's thing actually this morning, and I think there were 3 people that have that address on West Marguerite.
Yeah, property, but I think that was structures, his sister.
there's 3 people on that address, yes, I looked also. And that street is on the repaving list now? Yes, I asked it to be put on because it's terrible.
You know, what it is. I'm talking about where I live. I live on Marguerite.
That's not the one he's changing, Bill.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it's not.
I'm sure it is.
And your Margarita.
I live
The west side of Jefferson.
here, I live here.
Okay,
His sister lives here.
yeah. And it doesn't change.
No, it only goes,
Well, this part
yeah,
is on the street paving list.
maybe.
And I asked that it be on there because it's horrible.
I got West Marguerite from Jefferson to Catherine Norman.
Yes,
Yeah, that's.
That's the second one on the list.
yes.
Yeah, that's.
Is 12 still
You're
on that
talking
list?
about.
Which one?
What are you talking about?
Judson
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it still on?
It's on the list.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Somewhere in there.
this is over here, block long.
That, Mr. Brown, I think you're confused where he lives. He lives on West Margaret up here by like Jack and Jill area.
Who does? His
That's
sister?
Tuttle's.
No, his sister. It's not where he lives.
Where his
Yes,
parents' house.
yeah, but I think he's talking about over here.
Yeah.
That's called West Marguerite. He is.
About where his
Yeah,
sister
he
lives.
does. Well, she lives over there, Bill. She's on the west side of Jefferson.
Maybe he's got two sisters.
No, he has
Either
one
way.
sister.
Are we approving policy?
It'll go on our
List.
policies that will take care of all.
Just need to accept it as amended.
Yeah,
Who's gonna gather the names, what, there'll be letters sent out, or they go door to door, or how, I mean, the door to door thing kind of concerns me a little bit.
Because that's the same gripe we have with a lot of the others, because the one that conducts the survey, is it official or could it be slanted?
When the city send the letter down? Or did you change? You changed that, right?
and Marguerite.
You go back and look at what I did with the,
Calhoun and Marguerite, she's over here.
Donna,
Yes, and there's 3 people with that address on West Marguerite. That's where he's talking about, because Donna lives in his dad's old house. Yep.
good.
You good with this? Yeah, okay. Warren,
I'm good with it.
Diane? You okay with this?
Yes.
Yeah,
Did
Mayor
you get an
told me-
answer on how many had approved, or what your question was?
That only question I have is going door to door, sending letters out.
Right.
And it's, okay, when you get answers back, is it 75% of the responses or 75% of the total people?
75% of the total people affect on that street.
What if you don't get enough answering back to get 75%?
You don't get renamed.
Yeah, usually if it's, I was thinking before, if they don't return it, that's a no.
Yeah,
It's an automatic. no.
It's an audit, that's how it's usually worded.
yep, that's what we've always done.
Okay, in this case, let me ask this question. Bill is saying that street starts over here and comes and curves and goes, okay, so are we talking about naming? He's just talking about renaming from Jefferson to the end of that street. That's what he indicated. That's what he wanted, yeah, I'm just clarifying. Yeah. So you don't have to change it. But it's.
I will.
Yeah. You don't have to. We're not changing your street, but.
Yes.
He don't live on the street. I know, he's really never, he doesn't live on the street. I thought he lived on the street. He doesn't. Is his sister? It's his sister. Okay, I know where his sister lives.
Take care of it.
Why would
Let's
a,
move on.
So this is just the policy, right? Jeff?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
why would electric
we
go
pick
back in?
75%, everybody.
That's just how it's worded.
I'm
Why
gonna
would
change
they
it.
in no vote?
Trying to get people to respond. If they want something, they're gonna respond.
So I guess if you want it, you need to go work your neighborhood and say, please do this. But this way the person still can say like whatever they want to their face and then do whatever they want in action. So it's not an intimidation or,
I'm gonna word it the same way we approved the speed bump one and the street light one. Says we'll present a signed petition with at least 75% of the affected residents. Just to keep consistent with those other three policies.
You're gonna put, is that in here? Or you're gonna
It's
put-
it ain't worded quite like that.
Well, street level is the percentage of the people that respond.
Street light was some-
With the survey, because you've been changing them to this survey thing that
Yeah.
that person walks around.
It's just some street light.
And we don't know as a city person if they're,
10% of the affected residents.
I'm gonna have them all three worded the same way, just keep consistency.
That's it.
Yes.
Good. Move on to agenda item 6L. Council to discuss the contract with Lock Ridge Park rental agreement and to take any action deemed necessary.
Yeah, I figured I would like it. I went up $50 on it from what we talked to last time because of the cleanliness issue. I don't know if y'all know, but we only got one guy trying to maintain 15 parks. So we're trying to use the company that's contracted to clean City Hall to clean Lothridge once a week. And it'll be a thorough deep cleaning to have it ready for every weekend for rental. Instead of relying on our people to get it done. So I went up $50 to cover that additional cost that we're gonna incur. But we still have the same, it'll be the exact same total out of your pocket as it was before, because we went up 50 on the damage deposit. So we get 100 back, you're still just paying 150 out of your pocket, but it's gonna be clean now.
so these people still need to clean it, but that deep mopping and the deep cleaning that wasn't getting done by our employee will now be done by this firm regularly.
But a deep mopping, still got this ugly floor. I didn't see a difference.
It wasn't sticky. You walked through there Friday
Okay.
or Thursday.
How was it Monday? I went in. Who went in?
I was not here.
I don't know, Curtis, something.
What if the floor stick is not clean? What did you do with the $50 deposit?
I don't think they're gonna.
It's not the mop, it's
Yeah.
not, the deposit's not on the
It's
mopping,
leaving-
that's the cleaning service.
leaving paper, tape on the wall, yeah, cleaning up all that stuff. That's when you don't get your process back.
Right.
Leaving food in the refrigerator.
Garbage.
So,
You know, cobwebs in the corner, all that kind of stuff's on the cleaning crew now, because the people shouldn't have to do that stuff.
Was there 2 stoves up there?
It was.
What happened to the other one?
There, most I've been here, there's only been one, put it that way.
it was like that big wide heavy duty.
A,
Right.
a commercial,
We changed it
a commercial heavy duty cooking stove. Because of the failure of that one to a just heavier duty, more residential style, 6 burner, 5 burner. You lost one burner was the difference, and it was just a bulkier stove, not much difference. Cooking facility.
there.
The refrigerator.
We need another. John, now you're saying. What is the weekly rental rate as is?
So on the daily rental rate,
It's $100.
What is the daily?
$250 with $100 damage deposit.
Okay.
Oh, that's what we're going to. It was
That's what you're going to. What was?
200.
150 to 50 for the deposit.
Yes,
That's what it,
so
That's what it
they'll
was.
get back. They'll get back 100 instead of 50. So that gives them a little bit more incentive to clean up afterwards. Yeah.
So 150 rental, 100 deposit.
yes.
And the people can be clean on Fridays.
So
So it's
that's,
before most of the rentals for the weekend.
and that's to be done
I think we're gonna switch that because it was rented this past Friday and they couldn't clean, so we're moving it to
Mondays.
Monday or Tuesday.
I think Monday is what was in that email. But anyway, it'll be when it's probably not being rented. And this way it'll be nice and fresh for the weekend, even if you get back-to-back rentals. For the most part, it's gonna be clean. And that $100 deposit's incentive to wipe up after themselves.
I'm just gonna ask this again, and I believe I asked it one time before, but, the way the case, somebody to get a contractor, I guess a company goes in and does cleaning. We offer any kind of an option, or maybe the people don't wanna clean it behind themselves, to have them come in and do it for them.
No, because this cleaning company's not gonna come in on a Saturday night or a Saturday morning and clean up for the Friday night before. These girls aren't gonna do that. They get in, they clean it, they get out.
Well, there's some places you rent from, they do offer that, that's why I was asking.
Yeah, that's.
Who we
Okay.
using for cleaning?
Yeah, Weaver, that's it. We put it out for a bid and looked at all the options and Weaver,
No,
So you have put it out for a bid or?
and it wasn't Lothridge Park, it was for City Hall.
Oh, okay.
And then since we're already contracting with them,
Just wait.
we're piggybacking on our own bid.
Okay, one other question. I rented on Friday. Benita rents it for Saturday. Miss Landry rents it for Sunday, then what do we do?
We send someone in to clean, to check it. This is the way it's supposed to work.
straight.
To make sure that Benita did her job, then the same person goes in the next day, make sure you did your job. And then Monday morning, we check on her job.
Yeah.
So then I know whether to give Benita her deposit. Because I know that it's tied, you know,
Okay.
so someone is doing that. That's the way it's supposed to work.
Okay, what if they didn't? If they, you lose your deposit, I understand, but.
Then we'd have to pay
They
somebody
clean
overtime to do
it on
that.
Saturday morning and they didn't get cleaned.
That's right. Right. We'd have to do it.
Whoever's on call,
Our rec guy, yep, on call.
Oh,
Record Street, yep.
So you don't take the cleaning fee out of the deposit. Still get your deposit back.
If you leave it clean, yes. But if Benita don't clean, we're gonna keep that 100.
yeah, because that guy that's going in there over the weekend is cleaning.
I understand that.
Yeah.
He's a 2-hour minimum.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
If it's not that way.
and it's more of an incentive, because personally, $50, I might not be so worried about 100. I want that. Yeah, that's true.
That is so true.
That's true.
And they will respect things more.
But if that person is doing the cleaning every day, why are we charging them an extra?
They're doing the deep cleaning. We don't,
Once a week.
we don't expect, you know, Benita to get in and scrub the baseboards and the windowsills and the cobwebs and
Okay.
wipe out the fridge and all that.
But
And it discourages scrunchy stuff.
Yeah.
no question at all. What was that? Oh. Yes, sir.
What do y'all do if there's more damage than $100?
We don't rent it to them again.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
It's not the same liability when you have the parks.
yeah, we would invoice them, but it hasn't happened for a long time. I can't recall any.
Not like Rose here.
No.
All that though is not from the renters, that's gonna be other
Right.
people.
The outside, these are outside bathrooms that have the damages.
We need to paint the flooring like Rose had. Looks kind of bad.
Yep.
So.
Which flooring? The amphitheater?
We need
volunteers.
big part.
So we need some volunteers.
See if Rotary would do it. You can buy the paint, see if Rotary will do it. It's a good community service project. You just sit there and roll. It's not rocket science.
Roll it out.
We don't charge for use of it, then we try to paint ourselves.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that, what other parts should we charge for?
We don't charge for that, but they're.
Well, we charge the deposit for the sand.
Yeah, so.
And as long as they
all the microphones are there, the iPads there, everything's okay, they get all their money back.
And no other part, we don't charge for any other part. Because it's inside.
Right, yeah, we don't have to
Kitchen
answer.
area, they see one.
How's that been going ever since we went up with the deposit for Rose Hill? We haven't had any more damage since then. Just that one.
I'm against the $50, that's my vote, so.
I love the charting. But I wanna make a motion for us to get a refrigerator.
Seven.
There's not one there now.
It's one there, but it doesn't work. Sure, I had it the weekend before, Shirley had it the weekend before.
Did you guys look at it?
But it
They had it
doesn't,
work. They had it and it got a little.
So it's research.
yeah.
It's old, it is coming.
Sure.
And it's rusty.
And it's rusted.
Okay, so it's ugly too.
Oh, yeah, it's an eyesore.
Why don't I do a budget amendment for that and bring it back next week? So you can do that.
Okay.
Good idea.
What are
You need
your
a vote on
records as far as like refrigerators, we get the price. and
No, it's
everything?
He's saying a commercial one
I
might
would
be smart
suggest
too.
Commercial.
Yeah, and then we'll take that out of ARPA.
Eliminate. Then there aren't there quite a bit of stainless steel refrigerators.
That'd be nice, yeah. They're probably only about $1,000-ish.
More than that.
Well, 15, whatever. It's not
What is it?
Or it could be 1,800.
for a good commercial.
Do we need a motion on that or we don't? need
It will do it with the budget amendment when we get that back, but do you need to make a
So
motion for this to raise the rate?
Oh, yeah.
change that 2 months to 1 month.
Well,
It is one
The
month.
keys.
It
One
is
word.
one month.
That's-
One month.
It went down right there.
It was, but it got, yeah, you want to take it down to one.
we added that, may be subject to cancellation without notice, so we don't have to track you down trying to get your money. If you haven't paid within that 1 month and somebody else tries to book it, we can cancel the old one.
Make sure we reiterate that to them when you're giving the contract signed, that way they won't say, well, I didn't. Okay, I printed that off.
Okay, I don't have that. Okay,
Or would need to put an initial line in there, just.
On that part. What? Initial line.
Together initially. That way-
They already have a little check mark, they have read the entire thing.
And doesn't have to be read out loud.
They know.
Not anymore.
They can't read.
It used to be
They
that
have to
way.
check it off, and they've read the entire. It's just thing.
Because people say it all. We've heard it all.
Initial.
Last time I ever read it myself.
I mean, they've even stood up here and said, I didn't read it.
Make sure, yeah, yeah, we try to make sure they're aware of everything. Okay. Because of the issues we had.
are we done with that?
Do we have to pass it? Do you have to vote on?
I think so. You're asking to change a rate.
Action.
This is the first. So,
Well, it's not an ordinance, it'd probably be a resolution.
okay.
I'm thinking. Well, I don't know how was it originally put. Okay, vote on as consensus. If we have to bring it back to you, we can do that.
Motion.
I thought Ward already made it, not seconded.
Okay.
Yeah, so we need to
Yeah.
write. Councilmember Brian.
Yes.
Councilmember Landry.
Yes.
Councilmember Woodfall.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kettering.
Yes.
Mayor Hampton.
Agenda item 6M. Council to review and discuss amendment 2 of State Revolving Fund Loan Agreement. Taking action being necessary. Done.
Haven't had much of a chance to look into this one, but they,
Yeah, I haven't either. It just came yesterday or something,
you know,
didn't it?
they had a principal forgiveness of 87,500 on our loan for the.
And I don't even know what percentage that is. I haven't had a chance to work it.
We're just gonna leave this one.
Oh,
Maybe table this.
no, I meant the percentage. Because the grant most of these things been like 80%, and I'm thinking 87 doesn't look like that portion.
I'm not sure why it was 87,500 was forgiven.
Cause see, that's like 50%, and I thought most of our water and sewer grants were like, correct me if anybody knows any better, but they're mostly like 80-20. Remember Chester saying them numbers? I'd like to ask our engineer a couple questions.
Yeah.
Cause that's 50%. The percentage is wrong.
Let's table it.
Look, a gift horse in the mouth.
It might not be.
But
She
if
said it
we
might not
got a
be.
better horse, I'd rather have that. Yeah.
80-20.
Well, it talks about forgiveness, it talks about payment.
Yeah, and it's most of our water and sewer stuff is at it 80-20. 80% grant forgiveness, 20% payment, so that's 50%, so it's like, what? I'd like some time to read this and ask questions.
So I can get out of here.
Yeah,
And in the future, could you read it, because we're ready to go it.
just designate someone, Shirley, who you want to read stuff. Just call a name.
We're
Do it for you.
responsible. then.
I didn't give a shit.
For bringing it to us.
It is. I can read it though, but I didn't do it.
We'll bring it back.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. I'll steal your copy.
John?
That's her.
Oh, well, I'll,
She.
no, she needs.
Keep it, keep it.
They're gonna bring up about the, oh, well, that's the other one.
All right.
We talked about Quincy and Bay. I was gonna bring up Pine and Magnolia, and what's the other one? We had that same DOT study done.
Yeah.
For putting stop signs there. And they recommend just install 30-mile-per-hour speed limit signs on each side of the street. That stop signs weren't necessary.
That was DOT's.
Well, it was DOT consultant
So what are your plans?
to put 30-mile-per-hour street signs on each side of the street.
And what about the visitation? What happened with they?
Well,
Y'all asked us to go look at it to see if they cleaned it up good enough.
he said it was,
Yeah, y'all told us to go back and look at that one, see if he cleaned it up good enough. If not,
Yeah, because if we can see around it, it's got to be better.
I agree.
Carry on.
That was all I had.
Yeah.
Now,
Chief.
I'm gonna stand up. You have a packet that I handed out at the beginning of the meeting, and it's pretty thick, so I'm gonna rush through it pretty quick so that you can just kind of be introduced to what the idea is. And then we can come back for a better presentation later. During this last legislative session, House Bill 657 was passed. And in that, it authorizes the automated enforcement of speeding in school zones only. And automated enforcement is video and pictures. So we could issue citations through videos and pictures to the registered owners of the vehicle. But before we decided we want to talk to the council about that, we had a speed study done. This was a third-party vendor. We come in and did the speed study, did not cost us anything. We identified roads inside the school zones that we thought may be problems, and we identified one that we thought was not a problem to validate the results on. So statewide, these studies were done, and statewide, 54% of all vehicles in school zones are speeding more than 11 miles an hour over the posted speed limit. But what about Taylor County? What about our students? Taylor County and Johnson Strickland was their location, and it's in your packet. We found out that 9% of those vehicles were over 11 mile an hour over the speed limit. That was 37 vehicles in that 24-hour period. The high speed during school zone times was 55 miles an hour. And that's a 15-mile-an-hour posted speed.
How many?
55, 40 mile an hour over the posted speed. That is a major concern because at 45 miles an hour, people that are hit with vehicles start losing limbs and they die. 20 mile an hour crash with a person, you're 2/3 more likely to survive than at 30. So that is a reckless condition to be driving on those roads. So Johnson Stripling, well, it's 9%. Get ready for the next one. So Pinecrest that runs right in front of the high school all the way to Howard Drive that turns into the elementary school. 77% of all vehicles on that roadway were going more than 11 mile an hour over the posted speed limit. The highest speed was 61.9 miles per hour
During.
during school. 61 miles an hour. 77% of the vehicles. You know, sir, we didn't ask them who they were. We were just looking at the speeding vehicles. Okay, well, we did a study to make sure we're catching speeding vehicles. Thanks for your comments. So at 310 violations that occurred in that area during school zone time. Next, we did Lafayette Street at the middle school. That's a one-way that leads up to the middle school. Not to our surprise, we had 0 vehicle speed during those school zone times because the way the design of that road is, the natural speed calming design of that road, it's a one-way. It's hard to go fast on that road. We had 0 problems there, so that's not an area we would look at it for. On to Clark Street. That runs between the middle school and the administrative complex. And if you'll note, these are the areas where we see kids walking to and from school. And that's what we're concerned about, is the safety of children in our school zone. That's what we're after, to make them safer. So Clark Street has the same exact percentage as Pinecrest. 77% of all vehicles are speeding on that road during school zone times. The fastest speed was 56.7 miles an hour. That's highway speeds in town during school zone time. There's definitely an issue for speeding and safety there. 77% of vehicles per speed. That's unacceptable. The next would be Veterans Drive between Center Street and the turnoff on Johnson Stripling Road. Because we know what road we're talking about. 11% of vehicles on that roadway were speeding during school zone time. 67 violations, with the highest speed being 43 miles an hour. That's lower, but still not acceptable because we have kids walking those roadways in the afternoon and in the morning to and from school. And the last road we had, section road we had surveyed was between Johnson Stripling and Clark Street on Veterans. So it's the same roadway, just a different segment of the road. And we had 19% of vehicles speeding on that roadway. The fastest speed was 63 miles an hour. We had 81 violations on that roadway where our kids are walking to and from school. So we have a problem in our school zones. And this is while officers were out there in the school zone. You can only catch one fish at a time. You know, it may slow them down when they drive by initially, but they're going to speed up when they get down the road. So how do we address this? We can address this through working with a vendor that will set up speed enforcement cameras with lasers to actually accurately capture their speed. And that's what we're going to be asking for later. But to do that, we'd have to have an ordinance created to allow us to do this. Florida statutes allows this to be done, and it will be no cost to the city. We will not have to pay one thing to get this set up. But this is the council's decision to do this. I can bring back a vendor that I've been talking with so they can do a proper presentation. The vendor that I would bring is an American-made product. They make everything they use in the United States, everything that they do for this product, and the program is US-based, period. And that's why we bring them forward for you to look at them and listen to the presentation. So if you want to, we can bring it back, set it up for the next council meeting, and so they can do a presentation for you, trying to get things started for the next. If you're interested,
I'm very interested.
I can tell you,
it's not a school zone, sir, we can't do it. But this is just school zone during school zone time.
well, they don't stop when they on Johnson Strickland and they turn on Ash Street. They don't stop speeding. They floorboard it till they get to the light at Jefferson, and then they floorboard it again to go north on Jefferson.
Yes, ma'am, I agree, there is a speeding issue and a driving issue in our school zones. The only way we can change behavior is one of two ways, taking time or taking money. Really, if you'll think about it, and that's what we're trying to do, we're gonna take a little bit of money from them, a little bit of time, slow them down, maybe we can change their behavior. So if you're interested, I'll get it back. I see heads nodding.
Yes, yes.
And if you have any questions, you can talk to me later, call me or whatever, and I'll do my best to answer for you. As you look through your packet, you'll see what the actual cameras and the lasers look like. There's a section here that has one listed for you. And a little bit on how it actually works.
Jamie,
Yes, ma'am.
speeding, you get a ticket in the mail.
Yes, ma'am. You would get a ticket in the mail. But the ticket in the mail is reviewed by a traffic enforcement officer. So we have to look at it, review it, say it's a violation, approve it being sent. And you don't want to actually get one without us reviewing. And that's all part of the program. Okay.
So this is pick up the car, the tag,
Yes, ma'am.
The driver.
Yes.
And these take motion videos instead of just snapshots.
They do snapshots and video and they are designed to work like they do throughout the state with red light cameras.
okay.
So you can actually view segments of the video and the person that gets the ticket will get a login to look at it. Oh, and these violations will be heard by our magistrate. So that our magistrate can hear them. Here, if it's appealed, it'll go, of course, to the next level. The citation goes to the vehicle. If the person says, I wasn't driving, they have to provide us an affidavit of who the driver was. And if they don't comply, then they get an actual handwritten uniform traffic citation from an officer, which increases the liability there. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
This one, are they still using those lights in Tallahassee?
No, ma'am, they took the red light camera.
They put all that out.
In Tallahassee, they still exist in the state, but in Tallahassee, they did remove them. The statement was they effectively changed driving behavior at red lights, so they reduced crashes, which was the goal. And our goal here is to reduce speeding in the school zones.
Yes, because these babies need to be safe at all times.
I've been to too many crashes involving kids. I want to.
Yes,
The
yes.
school bus on the same program or is that?
Yeah, there's also, so there, and I talked about, we had a meeting this morning, staff meeting, and I talked about, there's another provision in this that allows for photo and video enforcement of people running stop arms on school buses.
Oh,
So yes, we'll discuss that later, but for now, I wanted just to focus on this. For the school bus program, we would have to partner with the school district and get their approval because it would go on their school bus.
okay.
So I would like to focus on this first. If this works and we're gonna move forward with it, we can bring the same company in to present the enforcement of the school buses. They do that.
Jamie,
Thank you.
Yeah.
And what about neighborhoods?
No, ma'am, it's only school zones. Now, if the neighborhood is a school zone, yes. But it's only, this legislature only authorizes school zones.
Okay,
It's a safety related issue.
and I agree with you, but we need to do something about neighborhoods.
Yes, ma'am,
It's
and
bad.
And I would suggest contacting our representatives in the House and the Senate to have them introduce legislation that may help with that. But for now, we're prohibited from doing this in any residential area unless it's included in the school.
What would I ask my representative?
To expand photo enforcement of speeding outside of school zones into other areas. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. So when you stay outside of school zone, so if it's even a neighboring residential community that has like people cutting across in their neighborhood to get to the school, but it's not officially the school zone?
It has to be designated as a school zone by signage.
Okay.
Who sets the school zone?
This city council.
You got
So we have the right to regulate schools.
And some of the Wild West driving is
Yes,
the,
ma'am.
is the attached residential
Now,
areas.
you can go after cut throughs through different kinds of sign placement, no through traffic. And that's a different kind of enforcement action, but it's violation of traffic control signs. Mr. Bryan, it's something similar we had in our neighborhood when I lived there. We had that sign at the entrance that no through traffic between these times to address the school issues. Then we could look at those areas to handle it that way through signage and enforcement that way. But it would not be automated, it would be in-person surveillance. Okay, all right,
Thank you.
yes, ma'am.
Yes, hi. I just wanted to say that as of Friday, I was officially 1 month into the position, and I have definitely enjoyed it. It feels a little bit like Wife Swap, the television show. And if anyone knows about Wife Swap, the first few days or the first day, you do everything according to what the previous spouse that you're replacing did. I think it makes a lot of sense, so you know what you're changing versus trying to change stuff and you don't even know how things work. So I think the last month has been like the first day of the Wife Swap, where my goal has not been to try to come up with anything necessarily to change, is to find out how, as much as I could in that month, how things work and operate. So I want to thank the city administration staff for having me up in their offices and their faces, sitting in Chester O's office, thinking about, oh, this could be mine, but for the 2 doors. So I really do appreciate it. And a part of what I have been doing has been connecting and getting information and files electronically transferred from Ray Curtis. And so the things I've been focusing on that I'll report to later, if I could, had all to do with any outstanding litigation that the city's been involved with. I understand the council has provided Ray Curtis with permission to continue with the liens from the seized property from drug deals with the city police department, but I have been finding out more about them. So at appropriate time, I'll take those over. You already dealt with the property issue regarding the quit claim, but also I've been looking into the biggest litigation piece that has sort of stalled in the last year and a half, the Bacon Street injectment matter. Like I said, I'll be more prepared to share. I think there could be some resolutions that haven't been explored before that I would like the council to review. Also, I just wanted to note, as this is my first month of working here, that some of the things that I would hope to be able to gain, and I know that it doesn't have to be raised necessarily in this meeting, but I would like a bound copy of the city code of ordinances and amendments. I know we have everything electronic, but even today is another time, like I can't get to the and also, although it doesn't look it, I went to law school in 1997. So where legal tools, I still had to go through libraries to look for updates on case law. So what I'm saying is that even I naturally like bound books, it's easier for me. Believe it or not, because I know I look really young, at the time I took the Florida bar, UCC codes was not a part of it. In fact, I took and passed the Georgia bar and the Florida bar the first time I took both. And although Georgia tested on income tax and business entities, the time I took the bar, Florida did not. So I think it was noted that if I didn't know certain terms, maybe I shouldn't be practicing law. I do want to say that I do use a computer now. So I have quickly realized that I knew what the principle was. I didn't know the gap was 2 A's and it stood for something, but I do love the internet now. So if you do have questions, I definitely would ask, not questions to me, but I really want to ask I want to say the court again, I have to change heads, that the council members or anyone of the department heads, please take me up on what I'm going to offer. I think for the next month is going into sort of like that second day of Wife Swap, where I want to start employing things I think will assist me in understanding better, not just my job, but what I can contribute to it. So in the month of July, I will do some office hours. I've been told that I could possibly I keep using the word Chester because that's my dad's name. Chester's old office or the conference room back here. And right now I'm tentatively looking at July 15th, July 18th and July 25th from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. And I will have no problem using technology to do Zoom. That this is primarily for the council members, because I realize I could spend up to, a part of my contract, spend up to an hour with you if you would like between meetings. But since you've never maybe you've never had that opportunity before in that way, I just want to sort of like encourage you to use it, even if it's just for you to tell me all the things that you think I may need to know and learn, like what GAP means. And so that would be very helpful to me in a very real way. So that's
We'll cover that, yeah.
well, no, I took legal accounting in law school. But again, I was just saying, like, I'm
It's been a
interested
week.
in everything.
It's been a night or two, right?
It's been over 24 years. Like I said, I know I look young.
Gotcha.
So outside of asking for a bound copy of the code, office hours, going over litigation, cases. I think there's one more thing, and bear with me, this is probably why I'm not listed to speak. Miss Mayor Hampton has reminded me that I could go like my preacher father. I would ask, I'll just speak to those things later. But yes, if you would, please take me up on that. If those dates and times don't work for you, please be patient with me. I may bug you, just say, hey, when can we connect? I know I've been able to connect with Council Member Kettering. I think he's the only one who's taken that opportunity to connect outside of council meetings, but I would ask, at least we could meet one time. It doesn't have to be for a whole hour, but I would like to go ahead and get you on my schedule for July and prioritize, having input or insight from all the many years or few years of experience that you have brought to the table.
You said 15th and 18th for this room, and what times?
18th.
I'm so sorry, not the 18th. No, well, the 18th also because it's before the council meeting, 12 to 5.
Because we gotta schedule this room is what I'm after.
Oh, okay. And like I said, it doesn't have to be this room. And it doesn't have to be Chester's office, but I was pretty much trying to give a time that I'm selling in my schedule. If I could use a place.
And this one is
Solid.
Wi-Fi and Chester's does not, so that's the
Okay,
difference.
Just send us an email.
I will.
Okay.
Okay, and then I'll put on schedule if you want this room.
Well, she was
If-
in the conference room in the back.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have the Wi-Fi, does it? Yours
Here
does.
does, here does.
Oh, in here. But Chester's office does not. That's what I'm trying to.
Right. I do have like additional Wi-Fi capabilities, but I didn't bring it with me today, but
You're fine in here, but it's just if people do book this room for all kinds of things.
Okay, Jenna, send us an email.
yes,
And I will give it to you.
yes.
For sure. Mr. Brian.
Yeah, ma'am. I'd like to, at our next meeting, put on the agenda, the look at financial statement for the 8 months so far this year. Put them on up there.
Okay.
We can look at,
And then she-
see how good we are.
We can look at them and talk about them, yeah.
Ranger.
I just want to address the layout of the agenda. We have on there number 3, approval of items on consent agenda, which makes no sense whatsoever. All the items that we address are on the agenda, one by one. And that is just redundancy to me and not necessary. I'd like to see it eliminated. The only thing that's not listed is the approval of the minutes. And that really should be listed as an item, so that if we have issues with the minutes, we can address it. When you do it with the consent agenda, everybody just says, okay, and we have not really looked at anything. So my proposal is that we put approval of the minutes and leave the rest of that off because they're all listed one by one in the agenda.
That's the only item.
I might be mistaken, but if you don't do it that way, you have to read the ordinance in full when it comes to.
Well, you have to, or you have to, at each one, before you read the title only, you have to approve to read by title only.
Yeah.
But that would have to be separate instead of having to do that for each one. That's why they shortened it. Because it's very redundant, but it will now have to, before you read any title only, that's gonna have to be said on each one of them.
Well,
Instead of on the,
But you got, it's the same amount of time.
but it saves time here. That's why they did it. Just saying.
I don't see that it saves time.
Okay,
You would have, each time you get to a new item, you would have to approve to read by title only. So you don't have to read,
time and require more repetition for the clerk.
Approve to read by title
that's all you're doing is approving to read by title only, so you don't have to read the whole ordinance out loud.
only.
or you can say that, but then you're gonna have to read for each one. Approval to read by title only ordinance 1028. And then you'll have to make motions on that. Then we would have to make a motion on reading by
Okay.
title only.
Then you
So-
explain why it's there. the
Yes,
way it is.
glad to. It's been that way a long time. It's simply a time saver. And if you ever do want to say something about any of those, you can say, I want to have these resolutions or these minutes pulled from the consent
How
agenda.
about changing the minutes into a separate item?
There you go,
Yeah,
if that's what you want to do. Okay. Just,
there are times when we need to bring up things on the minutes, and if you just do it a consent agenda, it just gets, gone.
your pleasure.
Thank you. But I don't have-
Where we at with folks? Yeah, we called the engineers back out to see what's going on and.
I've ordered parts. I'm waiting on them to arrive. Hoping they'll be here this week. I can put out a notice to have the road closed and fix it next week. We're gonna do it internally. The hardest part was just finding material. I found a ring and cover I really liked. But I couldn't get it till January. I know we didn't want to wait that long. So we found some composite lids. They're basically big manhole covers. And they're road rated. They bolt down. They should solve the problem. We're gonna fix one. We're gonna fix East Folsom first. Put the road back, make sure it's good. It's what we want to do. And then we're gonna do West.
Okay.
So as long as the parts come in, it should be fixed next week.
And once everything is completed, the pavement of the road is gonna go back.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to make our footprint as small as possible.
Okay.
Because all we have to put the road back with is cold patch, and it'll work. But we'll just have to take our time, close the road, compact the dirt. And we'll make the transition and the patch as smooth as we can.
If not, I would like for that road to go on that list for it to go back to being closed because that road has been tore up, dug up, patched up, so whatever we need to do.
It will be a manhole back and not that ugly glass door.
John, this is permanent. It's
Yes,
hopefully,
I can't say it's permanent, but we'll.
as best as you.
Yes, ma'am. We're gonna really enforce it. It's gonna be, it's gonna have steel, it's gonna be concreted, it's gonna be, way more sturdy than it is now. Okay.
What about Cherry Street?
We're eventually gonna have to, yeah, stitch a format or dig that road up.
I went out there
They're
today.
gonna have to dig it up anyway. You're gonna fix the pothole, I mean, they're bad.
I went out there today and looked at that indention. The main is very deep. So I don't advise digging it up because of the groundwater. You could do a spot repair, like a fiberglass liner in that section. You could do a mechanical repair called quick lock. But or if we had like a back truck, we could
do a small cut, as long as we could load, which we know where the leak is at because we have the intention. We could hydro excavate down and possibly cap the leak with concrete. The issue is if we dig it up, we don't have the equipment to do it because of the depth. We have a backhoe, we don't have a trench box. And the ground being as wet as it is, it may turn into another Folsom Street. So, that's what we could do. It would be great if we could line the main, like, instead of doing a spot, like from manhole to manhole, because it's clay pipe, BCP, vitrify clay pipe. The joints are usually it's 8-inch pipe, the joints are about every 5 foot. So every 5 foot, there's a joint. And that old clay has tar gasketing or concrete, and it's gone. So that's where your infiltration is coming in at. So if you line the whole section of pipe, it would eliminate it in that section. But the depth of that pipe is the problem. You can't access it. Let's say somebody wanted to build a house on an empty lot and they wanted a tap. It would be hard to put one in unless there's a manhole close that we could tap into. Yeah, that's the issue. You see, like, and I don't know if maybe we want to look into like Skiddy's capabilities, like getting some more technologies for repairs. But if you had like a spot fiberglass liner, you basically buy it in 3 or 4 foot sections. We put it in, there's like a bladder, you air it up, and then it's cast in place. Because the main looks good, other than that. Like I said, we don't really have the capabilities to clean or inspect. Well, like a lot of people would need to do that. But
John, is that just groundwater going in there?
That was on a dry day. And that rained in 2 weeks. That was back in April. That rained in a couple weeks that day.
And our wastewater treatment plant is treating that water.
That was the worst one. There was probably about 7 leaks at least down that line.
At
That is
least 3 or
Cherry
4.
That is Ash Street to Cedar Street, on Cherry. And that was just the last time they did it, they just leave it out
And when you said the incision form, that's a 40 grand.
for that 200-foot pipe.
Wow. Did you put in for a trench box in your capital outlay? Thought so.
Some of that area over there on Folsom, with the work that had been done, was it still on the warranty? Did we trying to reach out to see if it was anything on them?
Well, I talked to the manufacturer, what the people we ordered the top from. It's Cord Main out of Tallahassee. They got it from US Foundry. And they sent me material saying that that's what the city engineer ordered. And that's what the city signed off on.
Don't we get warranties when we get this work and stuff done on roads and?
I don't think so, but
You know, is it done now?
I don't know, but it wasn't
Well,
road
that
related,
Folsom
right?
project was just done last year.
It's road rated, but it was not, I don't think it's, the way it was designed, it latches closed and the latch looked like a doorknob latch. And it had a little place when the cars go over it, you know, so. I don't know why that was selected. Well, I think they designed the top square hatch style to access the pumps. That's the only thing I can figure that's why they would do it. But they do make manhole rings and covers large enough that we'll still be able to access the pump. And it should never, it should last. It should be a permanent fix.
Okay.
I mean, nothing's permanent.
Is that the only price you got? You have somebody else or what?
I had one other one and it was right there, 38 or right here with it.
Thank you, Shirley.
They can go there with a big sock, 200-foot sock, blow it up and heat it to seal that whole line up. And then come in through and I don't know how they do the cutouts with a machine.
They got a machine, it's basically like it's a camera on tracks, and it's got like a cookie cutter. And you can actually see the indentation of the surface where it came in, and they'll saw it out. But then they should line the surfaces also, because if you cut it out to where the pipe goes in, it could leak there also. So generally, you would line the surface as well, at least right there at the connection, because the main's 12 foot deep and the connection to the surface is 12 foot deep also. The surfaces could be clay as well, ductile cast. Some of them are PVC, but that road is so old, and I don't see a lot of like patches where the services were put in. So the services would probably need to be lined as well. And it's just like usually whenever you repave a road, usually the rule of thumb is you replace all the water services and all the sewer services. So you go so many years without a repair to keep from you tearing up the asphalt.
That's the ideal way.
Yes, ma'am.
That's not necessarily how it's been done.
Well, I mean, like, just most, well, from my experience, that's what you would do, because whenever you repair anything, your highest cost is the road, putting the roads back. So, it may cost initially, but in the long term, you would save money.
Even if you repair that, you may go to the next block. Have the same problem.
Yeah. It just pushes it down
And
further.
it keeps going further and further.
Yep.
Since we're on the manhole subject, why is there so many on Church Street?
Why is there so many?
Yeah. Manhole, yeah.
There's a lot of, there is a lot of.
Yeah,
Like everybody said, there's a-
I don't know. I stand there.
Your church has a lot, it has about what, 7 or more.
That's the way they designed it.
It's short.
That's the way they designed it, and I believe the way they intended was, every house usually has a service, those manholes. I think there are larger taps to connect two houses. And generally, like, the more access you have to the main for cleaning, like, usually whenever a large main, 6 inch or higher, wherever they turn, you don't use a bend. There's usually a manhole. So, you know, like, you wouldn't put a cross in and a pipe with 3 pipes flowing in and one going out, and it just be covered up, you have no access to it. So that's usually why manholes. Now, why there's so many right there, that's why I believe is because of the taps they placed out. Because it's in Cherry Street, North Cherry Street off Johnson Stripling, it's the same way. Like, there's wherever there's a manhole, there's a main that splits 2 houses, and they're connected there.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you.
Those stop signs we were talking about earlier, DOT did a study, is that a suggestion or is that something we have to follow?
It's a recommendation.
Recommendation, so we can make our own. Do it.
Yes.
Thank you, that's all I have.
You mentioned the grant for the topper. How would that grant?
I checked with them yesterday, said they were finishing up, should be this afternoon. I should have it tomorrow.
What about the computers out there?
We're almost ready to pull the trigger. I believe today we have a consensus, but she wanted to check 2 more references in Georgia, and then we're ready to make our decision.
It's all for me.
Good night, yes.
Like it's getting ready to say.
I'll go hit it for you.
No,
Might come back.